Y'all, it is my favorite video to record. It is the book haul video. Hi friends, welcome back. I am Shelby of Shelby and the Book Club, and today I have this big old box of books plus that, and I got some other like things that I got in my travels. So if you would like to hear it, here we go. Let's put this big ass book box down for right now, and in the space where my leg has to hold it up. So first, let me show you some stuff that I got from my friends. So as you guys know, Mom and I went to Maryland Sheep and Wool. I had the pleasure of meeting a lot of you guys, and when I tell you, y'all make a girl feel good. The last few months have been super difficult for me, and when I tell you, y'all coming up to me and telling me that I've helped y'all read outside of your comfort zone and just all of the nice things that y'all have to say, make it all worth it, I promise. So during the Maryland Sheep and Wool weekend, we went to the Magpies, and I got me a cute little bag. It says, Magpie Maker, birds of a feather flock together. I love my friends. And I got a shirt that says the same thing on it. So I got that. And then I got to see one of my best friends, Shayla, who had some bookmarks for me. I don't know where they're from, so don't ask. But this one is super cute. I gotta do my whatchamacallit hand. But it says, girls who don't read are skanks. Accurate. And then, if you did not know, I am a Beyonce stan. Like, I am a part of the Beehive. It is the one thing in my life that I am super irrational about. It is Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter and her children. She got me a Beyonce bookmark. Oh, it's so stinking cute. I love it so much. Thank you, friend. I love you and I appreciate you. Okay, next we can get into these books. So these are books that I've acquired in the month of whichever one of the months. Some of it's from this month, some of it is from when I was traveling last month, and bought every book in the city of Richmond, Virginia. Some is just stress buying. So we have my book of the month box, upside and back ways, and not my book cover writ. Not my. I know you lying. But we got The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. Whatever. This one I think is like a creepy thriller where she fall in love with somebody she ain't had no business and his house try to kill her. I believe that's what this one is about. And then next I have Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. This I think is going to be a part of the Shelby decides which is better. I know this ain't a page full of the books that Agatha Christie wrote. It sure is. That's a lot of books. My God, today. Because I watched the movie and I enjoyed the movie. So I would now like to read the book. So that is that. And then there is a bookmark that fell on the floor that says, please don't stop. I feel like they got some sexual innuendos in there. Next, we have my favorite, my Literati box. If you guys don't know, Literati is a subscription where you can pick a book club that you would like to be a part of. There are a ton of options to choose from. I believe like 14 or 15 different book clubs you can choose to pick from. And they're either authors or celebrities that you might know or like or whatever the case may be. And each month they pick a and you can read it with them. There is also an app that goes along with it. I believe it's about like $25 a month or something like that. It is my favorite thing because there would be no other way to keep in contact with Jesmyn Ward and what she's reading. She's one of my favorite authors, and I just love that I get a peek into the types of books that she likes and the different things that she's reading. It comes with a bookmark and a little card from the host of the book club that tells you why she picked the book or why they picked the book. And yeah, I just think it's cool. So for this month, the book is We Cast a Shadow by Maurice Carlos Ruffin. And I'm going to be honest with you, and I feel like I have this book already. The cover just looks really familiar. I feel like I have it somewhere. But it says, you can be beautiful, you even more beautiful than before. This is a seductive promise from Dr. Nzinga's clinic, where anyone can get their lips thinned, their hair bleached, and their noses narrowed. A complete demelaninization will liberate you from the confines of being born in a black body if you can afford it. I know you lying. In this near future southern city plagued by fenced-in ghettos and police violence, more and more residents turn to this experimental medical procedure. We're not going to go there today. Like any father or narrator just wants the best for their son, Nigel, a biracial boy whose black birthmark is getting bigger by the day. The darker Nigel becomes, the more frightened his father feels. But how far will he go to protect his son? And will he destroy his family in the process? Of course he will. I might have to steal Jesmyn Ward's idea, and that might be next month's book pick. Because I know you lying, girl. I know you lying, girl. I know. Ooh. Stuff I forgot I bought. Ain't that something? Ain't that a blessing? These are the little... What else is in here, though? These are the little tabby things that I use when I mark my books up. And I just like that the colors are funky fresh. So I got some more of these. And I like the little ruler thing on them too. Sometimes I use those as bookmarks. Okay, the book that's in here is The Girl at the Back of the Bus. This is by Suzette D. Harrison. That name sounds so familiar. What else did I... She wrote The Dust Bowl Orphan. Y'all can't see it, but The Dust Bowl Orphans that I bought recently. This says, on a cold December evening, Maddie Banks packs a suitcase and leaves her family home. 16 years old and pregnant, she has already made the mistake that will ruin her life and disgrace her widowed mother. Boarding the 2857 bus, she sits with her case on her lap, hoping the driver will take her away from disaster. Instead, Maddie witnesses an act of bravery by a woman named Rosa Parks that changes everything. But as Maddie strives to turn her life around, the dangers that first led her to run are never far away. Forging a new life in a harsh world at constant risk of exposure, Maddie will need to fight to keep her baby safe. So then it says, Atlanta, Georgia, present day. Ashley Turner is going home. Her relationship in ruins. Her career held back by prejudice. She is returning to the family who have always been her rock. But Ashley's home is not safe. Is not the safe haven she remembers. Her beloved grandmother is dying and is determined to share her story before she leaves. When Ashley finds a stack of yellowing letters hidden in her Nana's closet, she can't help the curiosity that compels her to read. And she uncovers an old secret that could wreak havoc on her already grieving family. As she tries to make sense of what she has learned, Ashley faces a devastating choice: to protect her loved ones from the revelations or honor her grandmother's wishes and follow the paths of the truth, no matter where they lead. That sounds really, really good. That must be why I bought it. Okay, now next. All of these books are in no particular order as to like when I bought them and where I got them from and all of that sort of stuff. We just gonna go through them, okay? Okay, so next we have Magic City by Jewel Parker Rhodes. This one says, Tulsa, Oklahoma, a white woman and a black man are alone in an elevator. Suddenly, the woman screams, the man flees, and the chase to capture and lynch him begins. When Joe Samuels, a young black man with dreams of becoming the next Houdini, is accused of rape, he must perform the greatest escape by eluding a bloodthirsty mob. Meanwhile, Mary Keene, the white motherless daughter of a farmer who wants to marry her off to the farmhand who viciously raped her, must find the courage to help exonerate the man she accused with her panicked cry. Magic City evokes one of the darkest chapters of the 20th century Jim Crow America, painting an intimate portrait of a heroic, girl, you can read, but doomed stand that pitted the National Guard against a small band of black men determined to defend the prosperous town they had built. This sounds really good. I think I got this one from the Book Bar, and I got it specifically because it was about the Tulsa Race Massacre, and I believe someone told me about that book, and I just never got around to it. Next, let's talk about The Every by Dave Eggers. So this one is no one reads flap copy. No one ever has, and yet it persists. In every hardcover book, and even some overly elaborate, usually French paperbacks, countless hours are spent writing this flap copy, editing it, printing it, and then it is ignored by all. This is this is a waste of resources and proves that publishing, perhaps more than any other industry, is primed for disruption. At The Every, we look to disrupt. We ask questions, we seek answers, we solve for solutions, and when we find the solutions we solved for, we implement them with grit. When we took a long look at books, we found much room for improvement. Some of our initial questions are ones you have probably asked too. Why is text read sequentially? Why do we need authors? Does anyone really like... I'm not reading the rest of this. Should there be books when they take up space? When they take up space, kill trees, and require reading? Girl! For now, let's assume the books should exist. How do we use technology to make them better? Let us count the ways. First, characters. Not too long ago, books were full of characters who said the wrong things and did the wrong things. These characters were needlessly complex and often unlikable. We ask, can't there be a better way? There can. There is. Introducing Fix. We don't claim that our Fix algorithms can remedy every error in every novel. But we can say with empirical certainty that we can fix 86% of errors in 92% of novels, starting with characters. For centuries, readers were baffled by the choices certain characters made and annoyed by certain things they said. Very often, really too often, these characters behaved inappropriately, especially in older novels. Characters said and did things that we now know are incorrect. Fix can and has addressed these errors, and readers have responded. 71% of readers have found that our fixed bucks an improvement of their unprocessed predecessors. But what about structure, pacing? What about the length of sentences, of chapters? What about the removal of unpalatable ideas and the insertions of tasteful romance at predictable intervals? Excuse me, all these things are solvable by solutions. We just need the data and the tools and the grit. Questions? I'm not reading the rest of this. So I bought this book because... Oh, and there's a... Y'all, I have to read this book immediately. I have to. There are a bunch of chapters, but down here are a 12-minute read, and if you read it in that approximate time, then you can calculate your score. So I got this book because each cover is different, but it's only like this when you buy it at an indie bookstore. So I'm going to see if I can get this in the bookstore so you guys can get it, order it, and see what copy you get. But I had no idea what it's about. Apparently there is this is the second book in a series. But everyone that I know that has read it said that you don't have to read the first one to understand this one. So we'll see what happens. But it is almost 600 pages. And I'm excited to read it, especially after reading that little bit of a synopsis to y'all. That sounds hilarious. Next we have a Zora Neale Hurston book. This one is Tell My Horse, Voodoo and Life in Haiti and Jamaica. This one doesn't have a synopsis, but I think it is exactly what I said that it is. Just her life in Jamaica. I don't know if these are short stories or what, but if you did not know, she is like a pillar in the voodoo hoodoo community. There are a lot of people that practice, a lot of practitioners and such that love her and honor her and so on and so forth. So I had to get that. Y'all know she's one of my favorite authors. Next we have Things Fall Apart. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Things Falls Apart tells two intertwining stories, both centering on Okonkwo, a strong man of the Igbo village in Nigeria. The first, a powerful fable of conflict between the individual and society, traces Okonkwo's fall from grace with the tribal world. The second, as modern as the first, is ancient, concerns the clash of cultures and the destruction of his world with the arrival of the aggressive European missionaries. I feel like this book is like a classic that I have not read, so now it is on my list. Now I have it. So there is that. Next we have Calling Me Home by Julie Kibler. It says, for fans of The Help, which is a bit alarming. The Help, why is the font in this book so tiny? I'm not reading this shit. Look at it. This, baby, my eyes is bad, girl. Look at that. I'm gonna need a magnifying glass. Shallowville, Kentucky, 1939, a world where black maids and handymen are trusted to raise white children and sent to white houses, but from which they are banished after dark. Why is this always a story that's told by white women? Why do y'all do this? I don't even know why I bought this. I guess because I didn't know what it was about and there was a black man on the cover, so I just... You can't trust me with a credit card, I'll tell you that much. So 16-year-old Isabel McAllister, born into wealth and privilege, finds her ordered life turned upside down when she becomes attracted to Robert, the ambitious black son of her family's housekeeper. Before long, Isabel and Robert are crossing extraordinary dangerous boundaries and falling deeply in love. Many years later, 81-year-old Isabel will travel from her home in Arlington, Texas to Ohio for a funeral. With Isabel is her hairstylist and friend, Dory Curtis, a black single mother with her own problems. Why is that information necessary? Along the way, Isabel will finally reveal to Dory the truth of her painful past, a tale of forbidden love, the consequences of which will resound for decades. I want to know why has the font, like, could y'all not have given me? I'm gonna read it eventually. I'm gonna stop talking shit. Next I have Lazarus, and this is by Diane McKinney Whetstone. In a city arriving by racial tension, the father's transgression is unforgivable. He arranges to take the baby, so it falls to Sylvia, the midwife's teenage apprentice, to tell the mother, Mita, that her child is dead. A lie that will define the course of both women's lives. Girl, how you just gonna take my baby and then have somebody tell me that my baby is dead? You know, man is trifling. A devastated Mita dedicates herself to working in an orphanage and becomes a surrogate mother for 2 white boys. What? While Sylvia, fueled by her guilt, throws herself into her nursing studies and finds a post at the Lazarito, the country's first quarantine hospital situated near the Delaware River just south of Philadelphia. The Lazarito is a crucible of life and death. Sick passengers and corpses are quarantined here. But this is also the place where immigrants take their first steps toward the American dream. The live-in staff are mostly black Philadelphians, and when 2 of them arrange to marry, the city's black community prepares a party on its grounds, but the celebration is plunged into chaos when gunshots ring out across the river. As Sylvia races to save the victim, the fates of Mita's beloved orphans also converge on the Lazarito. Here conflicts escalate, lies collapse, and secrets begin to surface like dead men rising. Past sins cannot be contained. Sounds interesting. We'll see what happens. Have any of y'all read this? If so, let me know. Don't you fall. This is how I always end up with a pile of books in my bed. She Would Be King is next on the list. So it says, in the West African village of Lai, red-haired Gebessa is cursed at birth and exiled on suspicion of being a witch. It's probably because her chest was congested when she was born. It don't take much. Bitten by a viper and left for dead, she nevertheless survives. On a plantation in Virginia, June Day hides his unusual strength until a confrontation with the overseer forces him to flee. And in the Blue Mountains of Jamaica, Norman Argan, the child of a white British colonizer and a maroon slave, can fade from sight at will, just as his mother could. What? Gebessa, misunderstood by her own people, finds a new life with a group of African American settlers in the colony of Monrovia. When she meets June Day and Norman Argan, it isn't long before they realize that they are all cursed, or perhaps uniquely gifted. Together they protect the weak and vulnerable, but only Gebessa can salvage the tense relationship between the settlers and the indigenous tribes. The all-seeing spirit of the wind weaves together their extraordinary stories. If she was not a woman, the wind says, of Gebessa, she would be king. That sounds good. I'm all for some red hair. I actually want to make my hair more red. But anyway. Next we have When the Beckoning Comes by Latanya McQueen. More than a decade ago, Mira fled Kipson, her small, segregated hometown in the South, to forget. With every mile she traveled, she distanced herself from her past, from her best friend, Celine, mocked by their own town as the only white girl with black friends, from her old neighborhood, from the eerie woodsman plantation rumored to be haunted by the spirits of slaves, from the terrifying memory of a ghost she saw on the terrible day when a dare gone wrong almost got Jess, the boy she secretly loved, arrested for murder. Now Mira is back in Kipson to attend Celine's wedding at the plantation that has been transformed into a lush vacation resort, which I never understood. Why are y'all having marriages and celebrations on plantations? Stop that. Expeditiously. Mira hopes to reconnect with her friends, especially with Jess, so she can finally tell him the truth about her feelings and the events of that devastating long ago day. For all its fancy renovations, the Woodsman's remains a monument to its oppressive racist history. The bar serves antebellum themed drinks. Entertainment includes horrifying reenactments, and the service staff is nearly all black. The darkest elements of the plantation's past, the slaves were tortured mercilessly and have been carefully erased. As the weekend unfolds, Mira, Jess, and Celine are forced to acknowledge their history together and to save themselves from what is to come. I'm gonna assume that this is gonna be like a creepy, eerie kind of story because there's like blood dripping here. I might have to read this sooner than later. And it's a short one. That sounds interesting. Y'all know I like me a little creepy book every once in a while. Oh, I didn't realize how many books was in this thing. I have a problem. So next we have No One Is Coming to Save Us by Stephanie Powell Watts. It says J.J. Ferguson has returned home to Pinewood, North Carolina to build his dream home and to pursue his high school sweetheart, Ava. Don't come back to pursue me after all of these years, sir. But as he re-enters his former world, where factories are in decline and the legacy of Jim Crow is still felt, he's startled to find that the people he once knew and loved have changed just as much as he has. Ava is now married and desperate for a baby, though she can't seem to carry one to term. Her husband, Henry, has grown frustrated by the demise of the furniture industry, which has stripped the area of jobs, and Ava's mother, Sylvia, meddles in the lives of those around her, trying to fill the void left by her absent son. JJ's return quickly stirs up the entire town, as the ostentatious wealth he's attained forces everyone to consider the cards they've been dealt. Can they reorient their lives to align with their wishes rather than their current realities? Or are they all already resigned to the rhythms of the particular lives they lead? I don't know, but Miss Mama's is cute. Okay, this hat, this bag, this dress, yes ma'am. Ooh, this is the thickums. So this one, Daughter of a Queen, written by Sarah Birds. So this one says, though born into bondage on a miserable tobacco farm, quote unquote, in Little Dixie, Missouri, Kathy Williams was never allowed to consider herself a slave. According to her mother, she was a captive destined by her noble warrior blood to escape the enemy. Her chance at freedom presents itself with the arrival of Union General Philip Henry, Smash 'em Up Sheridan, the outcast of the West Point, who takes the raw-boned, prideful woman into service. At war's end, having tasted freedom, Kathy refuses to return to servitude and makes the monumental decision to disguise herself as a man and join the Army's legendary Buffalo Soldiers. Alone now in the ultimate man's world, Kathy must fight not only for her survival and freedom, but also vows to never give up on finding her mother, her little sister, and the love of the only man strong enough to win her heart. Inspired by the stunning true story of Private Williams, the American heroine comes to vivid life in a sweeping and magnificent tale about one woman's fight for freedom, respect, and independence. This sounds interesting. I kind of made a face there in the beginning because I'm always worried about books that tell black stories, that are written by white women. That's always weird to me. And I can't quite verbalize what's weird. Apparently, I bought The Gone Dead before I realized that I had a copy in last month's Literati, so I'll probably do a giveaway with that. Next, we have Sometimes I Lie. Amber Reynolds wakes up in a hospital. She can't move. She can't speak. She can't open her eyes. She can hear everyone around her, but they have no idea. Amber doesn't remember what happened to her, but she has a sneaking suspicion her husband had something to do with it, or her sister, or maybe both. Terrified and trapped inside her own body, she slowly begins to remember a night that changed her life. Is she in a coma due to an accident? Is her sister having an affair with her husband? Be her ass, girl. What happened at work with her horrible boss? And who is the person who is silently visiting her bedside each night? Sometimes I Lie is a brilliant psychological thriller that asks, is something really a lie if you believe it's the truth? Yes. Next, we have The Chestnut Man. I don't know why Mr. Ice Cream Man just popped into my head when that happened, but anyway, a psychopath is terrorizing Copenhagen. His calling card is a chestnut man, a homemade doll composed of matchsticks and 2 chestnuts, which he leaves at every bloody crime scene. Examining the doll's forensics make a shocking discovery: a fingerprint belonging to a young girl, a government minister's daughter who has been kidnapped and murdered a year ago. A tragic coincidence or something more twisted? To save innocent lives, a pair of detectives must put aside their differences to piece together the Chestnut Man's gruesome clues, because it's clear that the madman is on a mission that is far from over and no one is safe. This also might be something that will be on the Shelby Decides Which Is Better series. Next, we have The Love of My Life by Rosie Walsh. So, Emma loves her husband, Leo, and their young daughter, Ruby. She'd do anything for them, but almost everything she's told them about herself is a lie. And she must... and she just might have gotten away with it if it weren't for her husband's job. Leo is an obituary writer. Emma is a well-known marine biologist. When she suffers a serious illness, Leo copes by doing what he knows best, researching and writing. But this time about his wife's life. Yet as he starts to unravel the truth, he discovers the woman he really loves doesn't really exist. Even her name isn't real. Child. Well, who the hell is she? When the very dark moments of Emma's past finally emerge, she must somehow prove to Leo that she really is the woman he has always thought she was. But first, she must tell him about the other love of her life. Okay, I am going to predict what I think this book is about, and y'all don't forget this. So when I actually read it, we can see what happens. She was in an abusive relationship. And she like killed him or something and hid the body and got away with it somehow. Did I buy a book twice? Child boo. And she got away with it somehow. And now her new husband is about to find out. So next we have Crossroads. I got this because it is a I think it won an award or something, or was shortlisted or longlisted or something like that. So I wanted to read it and see. One of the pages is ripped. Oh, I'm upset. I'm gonna have to call the people. It's December 23rd, 1971, and heavy weather is forecast for Chicago. Russ Hildebrandt, the associate pastor of a liberal suburban church, is on the brink of breaking free of a marriage he finds joyless unless his wife, Marion, who has her own secret life, beats him to it. Their eldest child, Clem, is coming home from college on fire with moral absolutism, having taken an action that shall shatter his father. Clem's sister, Becky, long the social queen of her high school class, has sharply veered into the counterculture, while her brilliant younger brother, Perry, who's been selling drugs to 7th graders, has resolved to be a better person. I don't understand. Each of the Hildebrandt seeks a freedom that each of the others threatens to complicate. I don't know. We'll see. I've heard mixed reviews about the author and about this book, so we shall see. Not going to show you that one. And not going to show you that one either because y'all have seen it before. Okay, that wraps up my very big book haul for the month of... This month is May. If you've read any of these books, let me know. If you are looking for any of these books, I will try to put... all of them, if not most of them, on the site so that you can buy them. And I will talk to you guys soon. If no one told you today, I love you. You are kind. You are smart. You are important. Bye.